Hello, welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Baltimore. I'm Nick Miller alongside the Esper Professor, Shaheen Soorani. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, good. Glad to see you.
Now, you're not playing Esper, and it seems like all the times I deck tech you these days, you're not playing Esper anymore. You're always on some weird brew.
Yeah. You know, you mess your hand up, you're on pain medication, you want to build burn decks and blink riders and all that, but this deck is the deck to play.
So you're not off your rocker this weekend.
No.
You're back to your, not quite old self, but you're playing control, and you're playing Sultai control, which is sort of like the grindier control player's control deck.
Absolutely, and this is kind of an ode to Gerard, who has had a lot of success with this color combination. This deck is the true control deck. There's no win conditions through dragons. It takes a long time to win, but winning is definitely inevitable.
Sure.
And a lot of times your opponents will see the writing on the wall and then move to the next game, but if not, you have the heavy haymakers at the end to take them out.
So you're a control deck, but you also have the Den Protector engine along with Satyr Wayfinder, so that you don't have to play all those dragons. You can just play a couple of win cons. If you mill them over, if they die, you can get them back.
Absolutely, and that allows you to play less of each card too. You get to play one bullets of Planeswalkers and win conditions, because eventually you'll be able to bring them back. Den Protector also is a win condition in itself, because it chains itself, returning one back to your hand and being able to continue that way. So the Wayfinder Den Protector combo in this format and in this situation, in my opinion, is actually more powerful than the Megamorph option, because you're bringing back Dig Through Time, you're bringing back Ugin, you're bringing back powerful counter magic, rather than bringing back removal or Fleet's Mainline or medium cards. So Den Protector or Eternal Witness in a control deck has a lot more upside than it does in the aggro deck or mid-range deck.
Right, your Planeswalkers, of course, are Garruk, Ugin, Kiora, and a couple Ashioks.
Yep, Ashiok's the key win condition in this deck. That's why it's two of those and then one of each other one. You have a third one on the board also. And in a deck full of mid-rangey Megamorph decks, Ashiok's where you want to be. And it's actually been one of the absurdly good matchups for this deck.
Yeah, you see that card shine in the mid-range decks and against the control decks, which is something you don't always get to have. It's something that's good against both tools.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like, control, it's just that ticking time bomb. And I knew it at the Pro Tour back in Block last summer. You just play Ashiok, you protect it, you plus, exile the hand. Fantastic card against control, but people don't realize if you plus Ashiok and hit Siege Rhino, and they don't kill it immediately, they lost the game. Like when you untap him for free a 4/5, drain him for 3, along with your other backup spells, they're in deep trouble.
Sure. So if you got a removal suite, you got Bile Blight, you got Hero's Downfall, Murder's Cut, Sultai Charm, which is a card you say is just really good right now.
Oh yeah, I'm off ultimate price like a lot of people are, but it's not ultimate price. It's what ultimate price would love to be, right? You have ultimate price, you don't need it anymore, you cycle it, draw 2, discard to land, and you're good to go. It has 4 modes on it.
4 modes.
Yeah. Enchantment, Artifact, both are very relevant in this format, especially Enchantment. I mean, there's so many dangerous enchantments running around, and Sultai Charm is a great answer all the sieges and whatnot. And then, of course, the monocolor thing, especially with the rise of red-green Devotion and red-green Dragons, kills a lot of targets in those decks. Kills Whisperwood Elemental, so you have just so many ways to not lose to these really dangerous cards that people are playing a lot of.
Right, you have to have answers to stuff like Stormbreath Dragon and Thunderbreak Regent. Sultai Charm does the job against both of those.
Oh yeah, and now you're playing a deck that has no white, so the Stormbreath Dragon is the least scary threat for this deck. Again, with so much removal and so many Den Protectors, you're able to just continuously kill everything until you're ready to change some Dig Through Times and then win the game that way.
Sure, and with the rise of these Devotion decks, Perilous Vault comes back as a great answer to the decks that are just trying to flood the board with everything.
Right, and if you read my work, and I know you know, I'm not a huge fan of Perilous Vault in general, but in this deck and in the grindier control decks, it's an absolutely essential card, especially like you said in this format, to get rid of a plethora of problems. I mean, I was able to play it, activate against Xenaghost, Dragonlord Atarka, a whole board of red-green Devotion, and there's no real other card that does that. It doesn't answer, like Ugin doesn't answer Whisperwood Elemental. They have so many manifest creatures, sometimes you minus and then they have this army left over. The Perilous Vault prevents that from happening.
You got your counterspell, Dissolve, you got Thoughtseize, then some card drawing with Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, as we're pretty used to seeing by now.
Yep, and with Satyr Wayfinder, it's like Satyr Wayfinder's Dark Ritual. You're able to play it on 2, you're able to mill 3 cards, hopefully not 4, which happened to be last round for the loss there. But yeah, if you're able just to put all these cards in the graveyard and you're consistently digging through time on 3 and 4, which is just something that Control is not supposed to be able to do.
Yeah. That's what we've seen the Esper Dragon decks and all the control decks really thrive on, even when we saw Gerard win back in the day with Sultai.
Yep.
It's being able to play with your graveyard and using Dig Through Time, as well as your sideboard options here, Tasigur.
Yeah, oh yeah, and Tasigur is just a powerhouse. You just can't play creatures in the main deck of a creatureless control strategy, because if they catch wind of it, then they get to not board out all their removal, and you really want them to do that. A lot of times they'll keep in removal against the Esper Dragon player because of course you have dragons.
Sure.
But this deck, after they lose game 1, they're going to see that there are no creatures.
Right.
And there's just no way they can justify leaving removal in, even if they have a suspicion that Tasigur is going to come in, because Ashiok is the threat, Den Protector is the threat, and Planeswalkers are the threat. So Tasigur is better in this deck than any other deck. And again, like you said, Satyr Wayfinder on 2, Tasigur on 3 with mana up. I've been able to play Wayfinder against red on 2, Tasigur Feed the Clan on 3 against red, and then the game's over.
Right. You mentioned the combo here, Feed the Clan and your Tasigur. One way for these decks to really fight those red decks that are just so fast.
Absolutely, and you bring it in against other decks too. I bring it in against Mardu, I bring in 1 Feed the Clan. Against Jeskai, I bring in 2 Feed the Clan. So you have ways to just negate all that burn. I was played against Jeskai round 1, and he struck me twice with lightning, and then I'll just easily gain 10, and you know, just kind of offset all the strategy that they do. So it's a great green option, and that's another reason why to play green right now.
Right. Again, another card that really shined for Gerard. You know, when he showed up in DC with this Sultai deck similar to this, people kind of laughed at Feed the Clan in the sideboard. Now that we've seen so much work it does, 10 life is nothing to laugh at.
Oh no, 10 life is good, and I've never been able to gain that much life in one shot before since the old Elspeth Soorani days combo. But Feed the Clan for 2 mana, there's no better option.
Sure, you got another Crux of Fate, another Ashiok, bunch of Drowning Sorrows, so you've got it pretty figured out. Negate and some self-inflicted wounds, just dealing with all the troublesome cards you see.
Yeah, Drowning Sorrow is going to be a thing of the past once the new set comes out. Languish is going to be a main deck card. It's going to be a 4 of in the control decks. I can't imagine playing less than 4 between main and sideboard. We need that 4-mana sweeper. People forgot how good it was.
Sure.
Aggro decks forgot what it's like to actually have to think and hold back creatures rather than just empty the hand, because there's no fear now. Like you just play everything in your hand, and then they just, you know, you beg the control deck, you taunt them into doing something. Now you have a way to kill everything. -4/-4 allows you to keep Tasigur in play, so now we can actually cut the vaults, bring in Tasigur, and have things that survive the languishing, and then just continue to truck on there. So I'm really excited about the new set.
Man, really looking forward to Languish right here.
Oh my good. Languish is going to be, you know, and it's sad too, because we used to have 4 mana destroy everything. 4 mana -4/-4 is definitely good enough, and as we were chatting earlier, Siege Rhino, those things aren't the cards that beat control decks. So don't worry about with the naysayer saying you can't kill Siege Rhino, because I don't know the last time just a Siege Rhino beat me anyway. So,
like, speaking of Languish, I mean, 4 mana for -5/-5, it doesn't destroy, or -4/-4, it doesn't destroy everything, but it does kill problemsome cards like Fleece Mane Lion and the Rakshasa Death Dealer and things like that get around the destroy effect anyway.
Oh yeah, so it might not even be, arguably might not be a downside. It kills Ojutai, it kills Thunderbreak Regent, it kills Stormbreath Dragon. So you have a lot of things you kill, and the list of not killed things are so small, and even so, it's only 4 mana, so you're able to do other things later in the turn as well. I mean, it's not far-fetched to be able to cast that and then downfall the remaining threat, you know? So it's a great card, and I think that all control players out there need to pick their 4 up and make sure they're ready to go when the new set comes out.
Well, you heard it here from Shaheen. Pick up your Languishes when they come out. Play Sultai because it's the best control deck. Thanks for joining me on the sideboard. As always, stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action here in Baltimore.